Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the How to Create Your Great weekly video series where I, Scott Stoltz, your host, will answer, talk to, share some insight and wisdom that will help you in your career, in building your dream career, creating your dream career, maintaining your dream career, and transition jobs, create that job that you want. So speaking of jobs, I'm going to jump right in, and I have a friend who recently, came to me for some advice, and we used to work together, and she was talking to me about her job search situation. She's currently looking for work and has been for a little while. And this is something that I wanted to share because in talking to her on and off for the last week or so, it reminded me of episodes that I've had in my life when I was job searching, as well as many other people that I've seen. And there's an important lesson, and there's a lesson in here for you that I wanted to convey. All right, so let's convey a lesson about the whole job search process. And I'll just jump right to the point and go from there. That being that you need to remember, we all need to remember that the job search process as it exists in this world today, and probably has existed for years, is not a reflection on us. It's not a reflection on you. It's not a reflection on me. It's not a reflection on all those people we know who are going through a job search, who have been through a job search in the last few years. The reason that is because it is a flawed process. The whole process of hiring and filling positions in companies and corporations and organizations today, and has been this way for a long time now, is very imperfect and very flawed, and there are a lot of gaps in it. And so what happens, and I listened to my friend recently, and again, it's somebody that I used to work with who's currently in the middle of a job search, and she hasn't landed anything, and it's been close to a year, and actually it's been a little bit over a year, and of course that wears you down emotionally when you are getting rejected or not accepted. And I purposely use those words because we're going to talk about that in a second. And if you have experience or feeling on this topic, I would love for you to share. I would love for you to share even just in a DM. Talk to me offline, talk to me, comment on this video, your thoughts on the whole process and how it's made you feel before when you are looking for a job and going through hiring cycles. Because what happens is they're imperfect in terms of, think about how recruiters, how hiring managers, people who are going to or do lead a team, when they're going about hiring, number one, time is of the essence. They don't have a lot of time to really get to know candidates. And HR and hiring managers will often screen people up front, and they're screening people. So, and of course, many of us can sometimes screen and get through that first initial step in the process. And then it comes down to an interview that may be anywhere from, let's be generous and say it's anywhere from 45 minutes to maybe even 90 minutes. You're lucky if you get that long with somebody. And it's hard to really, forget the resume for a second, I'll talk on that in a few minutes, but it's really hard to get to know somebody very well and get to know how good of a fit they'll be in that organization. And for the person who's being interviewed and is in essence interviewing that company or that business to see if they're a fit for him or her, it's really hard to get a good read on those, on how much each will be a fit for each other. Not just from a skills perspective, because of course that's another hole in the process where in hiring processes there's often a reliance on our skills and on our resume as opposed to mindset and culture and fit and the problem-solving ability that person's going to bring to the table, and on a wider margin, the value that they'll bring. There's such a reliance on skills. So there's a crunch on time. There is a very short and somewhat superficial and shallow in-person meeting for an interview. And then, of course, in today's world, a lot of them take place over with the use of technology online and on screens, and sometimes on phones. I mean, in my last role, I hired a handful of people when I was at CVS Health, And thankfully, for the majority of the time, I was able to do interviews in person, but I had to do a few over the phone too, and that creates a whole other issue where, you're not really able to connect in person. So as I look back on my corporate career, and I remember these examples in the hiring process that I saw, in addition to the handful of times that I was job searching myself and looking for the right job and not really vetting things as much as I needed to, but also knowing that were the organizations and the businesses that were hiring, were they vetting me thoroughly as well as other candidates? So, in talking to my friend and listening to her situation recently and listening with her and hearing in her voice the disappointment and more importantly, the frustration of not being selected. And I just said, and this was over the phone, so I couldn't look her in the eye, but I just said to her, I said, remember that this is not a reflection on you. The hiring process is not, and I would like for you all to remember that too, whether you're going through a job search now or you do in the future, that and it's really hard. I know this is hard, like a lot of things that we do, right? When taking ownership of our career, there's hard work involved and there's emotional labor. And of course, we want to protect ourselves and we're looking out for ourselves, all very understandable. But I want you to remember that this is not a reflection on you. It is a reflection on the process. You have your gifts, you have your skills and your experience and the value that you bring. And sometimes it's just the process is short. Sometimes people are making decisions because they're under pressure, those being hiring managers, HR people, and those affiliated or associated with filling a position. They can make a decision on how they're filling a role in any number of ways. So, again, our feelings could be hurt. We feel slighted. We feel left at the altar, especially if we get feedback. And, sometimes we don't know how authentic or genuine this feedback is, but sometimes a recruiter or a HR person will tell us, you were the next person on the list, you were the second or third best candidate, and they just went with one person better. And maybe sometimes that's true. In the end, does it really matter? We didn't get the job. And what's really important is that we're able to move forward and not let it get us down or slow us down. And that's really the moral behind this story is, you don't want to let what can be a really emotionally draining process slow down you or slow us down. We have work to do. We have a life to live. We have a career to create. And the hiring process can be very emotionally draining, and it'll wear on us to a point where we get, not dejected, but we get discouraged. And it slows us down from focusing on the task at hand, and that is creating that job that we want for ourselves. So please, if you're in a situation either now or remember this going forward where you're in the middle of a hiring process and you're not getting a couple of jobs and you go through interviews and you're not selected, it's not about you. All right? It's not about you. It's about the organization that's hiring, the decisions that they make. You put forth your best effort. And, we all try to do that. We all do that. And make sure you are, carry yourself through the process as, hold your head high from start to finish and be your true self and represent yourself and put in all your effort emotionally to any interviews that you have and let people know your value. And we talk a lot in my programs. We talk a lot about how to connect and communicate with people in meetings like that. And bring it, show up. Do the work and bring your emotional best self, and in the end, it's going to work out really well because you're staying true to who you are and you're not letting the hiring process get you down. All right, so remember, hiring processes are not a reflection on you. Okay? The other thing I want to share tonight as I record episode 2 of How to Create Your Great, and some other feedback I just wanted to get to on another topic that comes up a lot, especially with me as I've started my business, is the mindset of, where do we stand in relation to our competition? All right, and this is particularly relevant to me as I've started my business, to many of you in your business, but I also say it's relevant to anybody who works in an organization as well, because often we find ourselves comparing ourselves to other people that we work with, especially those who are in our group, on our team, at the same level that we are, have the same role or title or similar roles. We can often find ourselves comparing ourselves to other people. That can be very counterproductive and not healthy. And what we want to do and what we want to remember is we are going to work on and focus on ourselves and how we can get better. All right? So focus on yourself, not so much what your peers, your coworkers are doing. Work and collaborate with them on delivering great work and projects and be supportive, and you're there for them too, just as much as you're there for yourself. But don't get caught up in worrying and dwelling about where somebody else is in relation to you. Okay? And if you have your own business, if you started your own business, don't get caught up in worrying too much about what the competition is doing. Work on growing yourself, your business, getting better every day so that you can bring the best value to your customers. All right? It's all about bringing value to your customers and how you do that. It's not about, can I beat my competition? All right? So many organizations, and I'll just say it, so many individuals these days get hung up in being better than somebody else, being better than their competitor, being better than a colleague, being better than that other person who does the same or similar type work or sells a similar product or offers a similar service. We don't want to go into that sandbox. Work on yourself. Remember, you bring gifts to the table, you bring value to the table, you're a problem solver. You make life easier for those that you work with. You make life easier for your customers, your clients, your partners, your co-founders, and you have that nobody else can take away. You are your own person with your own gifts. Build on that, build on those gifts, and don't dwell or worry too much about what other competitors are doing. So me, for example, as a career coach, there's a lot of career coaches out there in this world. There's a ton of them here. I live in the greater Boston area. There's a lot of them here in the Boston area. And if I was, now I certainly look at what some other coaches are doing. I pay attention to what some of them do online. I watch videos. I listen to a podcast that another career coach, he's not local, but I listen to a podcast of another career coach, and I glean a lot of good information from them on things that are going to help my business and, more importantly, help me serve other people better, because I'm constantly learning. But what I'm not doing is I'm not comparing myself to that career coach or any other coach for that matter. It's not about how I relate or stand out in relation to, I should say, to other coaches. It's how I bring my best foot forward. What am I doing? What value am I providing to my clients, to people in my community, and the people that are going to join my community, or just see and watch a video like this for 5 minutes. I'm doing the best that I can to offer wisdom and insight with no comparison to competition. And I don't want to go down that road because it's gonna lead me, it's gonna put my mind in a place that's not aligned with the goals that I have. My goals are to build my community and help people take ownership of their career and create fulfillment. And you know what? I wouldn't even mind if there were another 1,000 coaches doing the exact same thing and had the exact same mission as I do. That's great. More people will be impacted. I'm going to work on serving the people that come to me, that are drawn, that want to work with me, that are comfortable with what I have to offer, and just want to be part of my community. Remember, we can't help everybody. We can't serve everybody. We are here for those who are meant to help, and those who are ready for our work will be there. They will come, and I'm ready for them anytime they are ready to get to action and into action mode with me. All right? So those are the 2 lessons for tonight. And in this particular episode, remember, number one, don't let the hiring process seep into your soul, your head, your mind, your heart as a reflection on you. If you're not chosen for a particular job and you've put your best foot forward and dedicated and worked hard through your interviews, through that whole hiring process, and you were not selected, you move forward into the next opportunity. And you probably have other opportunities already going on. It's not a reflection on you. There's too many challenges in corporate America today with time, with rushed hiring processes. Believe me, I saw it firsthand. I'm sure many of you have too, where decisions come down to surfacey things like numbers, like budget. Maybe somebody's resume literally looked a little bit better. Maybe there were a couple of lines of experience on somebody's resume that looked a little bit better than yours. But does that mean they would have been long-term a better fit or a better hire? We don't know. We don't know. And we have to remember that. So move forward through the job search process and don't let the hiring process be a reflection on you, because it's not. It's a reflection on a broken and old system. We are now in the connection economy, right? We talk about this all the time. We're in the connection economy. It's about relationships. It's about how you make people feel. It's about how other people make you feel. And you are always working to build on relationships and make those emotional connections. And it just doesn't happen every time in the hiring process, all right? So step back, step out of that, cut that emotional connection, and move forward, all right? So that will wrap up our second episode of How to Create Your Great. I really appreciate if you watch this for a few minutes. If you have any questions for me now or in the future, shoot them to me anytime. DM me. I'll get back to and answer any question, any comment that you have about your career. What are you doing? How are you creating your business? Let's share it with our community and get the Create Your Great community out to more people so that we can continue to provide value and help. Because remember, there are hundreds, there are thousands of people out there who have trouble sleeping at night because they're not fulfilled in their job. And if you're one of those people, shoot me a note and join our community and let me know how I can help you. All right? I'm here to help because I know it can be done. I've done it, and I've watched many other people go from their prison of an unfulfilled career to a dream life where we're living every single day consistently the life that we want to in the work that we do and making an impact. And I know you can make an impact too. All right? So I'll see you next time on our next episode. Send me questions, send me comments, and I'll make sure to get back to you anytime, okay? Thanks for tuning in.